Good morning, students. Let us continue with the chapter on superstitions by A G Gardiner. That it exists is evident from many irrefutable signs. Writer says that superstition still exists in the society, and it is clear, it is evident from many inevitable examples. There are numerous streets in London, and I dare say in other towns too, in which there is no house number 13. He says that there are a number of streets in London and other towns as well where there is not even a single building that is having number 13. And I am told that it is very rare that a bed in a hospital bears that number. I am also informed, I am also told, there is a rare chance that in hospital there is a bed that is having number 13. The superstition threadbare, though it has worn, is still sufficiently real to enter into the calculation of a discreet landlord in regard to the letting qualities of his house. He says that superstitions, though they are outdated, but still they are there in the society. If a person purchases a house in order to let it, he says that if number 13 is there, a very intelligent, a very thoughtful landlord thinks twice to purchase a building that is having number 13. And into the calculations of a hospital as to the curative properties of a bed. If in hospital bed is not having number 13, some kind of steps are there considering number 13 as an unlucky number, because in hospital there is a patient and his curative properties, his treatment is concerned, it can be affected by this number. In the later case, general agreement would support the concession to the superstition, idle though that superstition is. He says that in the later case, in the case of hospital, excuse can be given to the superstition because it is related to the life of the man. But whereas superstitions are concerned, they are idle one. Physical recovery is a matter of the mind as well as of the body. He says that when a patient is admitted in the hospital, his physical recovery, it is the matter of the mind as well as of the body. Not only the body is to be recovered, but the mind of the patient should not divert in the hospital. And the slightest shadow on the mind may, in a condition of low vitality, retard and even defeat recovery. He says that if there suppose there is a slight reflection on the mind, he says that in that condition, especially in the condition of low vitality, low potentiality, author says this particular thing can retard and even defeat recovery. It can put hurdle in the recovery of the patient. Florence Nightingale's almost passionate advocacy of flowers in the sick bedroom was based on the necessity of the creation of a certain state of mind in the patient. Florence Nightingale, a nurse, she always passionately advocated that there should be flowers in the room, in the bedroom of the patient. The reason was it was necessary because it can create a certain positive state of mind of the patient. Was based on the necessity of the creation of a certain state of the mind in the patient. There are few more curious revelations in that moving record by M. Domal of medical experiences during the war. He says that there are other examples in the record of M. Duhamel, a French writer and orator. He is having a number of examples related to superstitions in his record, especially the period of the war. Then the case of a man who died of a pimple on his nose. This is a peculiar example. Apart from this example, there are a number of examples in the record of M. Domal that there was a person who died just because a pimple appeared on his nose. He had been hideously mutilated in the battle. That person was very dreadfully destroyed, mutilated, wounded in the war, and was brought into hospital a sheer wreck. When he was brought into the hospital, the condition of the patient was almost ruined, almost destroyed, about to die. But he was slowly patched up. When treatment was given to that patient, slowly and slowly he started recovering and seemed to have been saved when a pimple appeared on his nose. It seemed that this particular patient who was completely mutilated can be saved. Recovery was there. At this juncture, at this stage, a pimple appeared on the nose of that patient. It was nothing in itself. Pimple as a wound, as a scar, as a mark, it was nothing in itself. But it was enough to produce a mental state that checked the flickering return of life. The appearance of the pimple on the nose, author says that it was enough to produce a particular state of mind, and that particular state of mind stopped the shocking return of life. That person was returning to life. That person was recovering. But as the pimple appeared on the nose, the state of the mind of the patient, it changed, and as a result of that, of the state of the mind, the recovery stopped. It assumed a fantastic importance in the mind of the patient who, having survived the heavy blows of fate, died of something less than a pinprick. He says that it took an importance in the mind of the person, in the mind of the patient. A patient who survived the heavy blows of the fate. When he was there in the battlefield, fighting with the enemies, number of wounds were there on the body of this person, and he survived. But he died of something which was nothing in itself. It was just a pinprick. It is not difficult to understand that so fragile a hold of life might yield to the sudden discovery that you were lying in the number 13 bed. He says that it is not difficult to understand how delicate the matter is because it is related to the recovery of the patient. Suppose patient is there in the hospital getting recovery, proper treatment, and suppose at that time the person comes to know that he is lying on a bed that is having number 13. This particular thing can change the state of the mind of the person. And if there is a change in the mind, a particular state of the mind of the patient, it can defeat recovery and the person can die because number 13 is generally considered as an unlucky number. Mark it here. Thank you very much.